You ever feel like the news is just the same stuff over and over?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But Syria, that's different. Things are changing so fast there.
Totally. It's like someone flipped the script.
Oh.
Been a brutal civil war for what? Like over a decade?
Yeah, and it felt like, I don't know, like things were stuck for a while there.
Yeah, stalemate almost.
But now, wow, these reports we're looking at, it's crazy.
It really is a different picture now.
Like these rebel groups, they're not just messing around, they're making real gains.
Yeah, it's not just progress. It's like a full-blown offensive.
We're talking Aleppo, Hama, Homs.
And those are big cities.
Huge. Like those aren't just dots on a map, you know?
Right. Those are major, major places.
And they're falling left and right. It's unbelievable, the speed of it all.
The speed, yeah, and the scale.
So who are these guys?
Well, Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, HTS for short, they're the ones leading this charge. But they're not alone. The Turkish-backed Syrian National Army is with them.
Okay, so hold on. If the rebels are doing this well, I mean, what about Assad?
Right. Big question.
The Syrian government, they're saying he's still in control. But then you've got these opposition sources. They're claiming they've got Damascus.
Yeah.
Like the capital.
Yeah, and that Assad's gone. Who knows where?
I mean, who do you believe in a situation like this?
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? War zones are just... It's tough to get reliable information.
Yeah. So much fog of war.
Exactly. Propaganda everywhere. You've got to be really careful about taking anything as, you know, the absolute truth.
Okay, so you might not know all the details, but one thing's for sure. The world is watching this very closely.
Oh, yeah, they're definitely paying attention.
And they don't seem too happy about it either.
Yeah.
You've got the international community calling for peace talks, but also they're worried. Like, what if this violence just gets completely out of control?
Yeah, what happens then?
And then you've got the whole region could be destabilized.
Exactly. And those concerns are valid. I mean, think about it. If Assad's regime actually falls, what then? You've got a huge power vacuum waiting to be filled.
Yeah, and that never ends well.
Right. Like ever. And then there's the ripple effect. This doesn't stop at Syria's borders. This impacts the whole Middle East.
That's a scary thought.
It really is. And we can't forget about the people, you know, the human cost.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
It's easy to get caught up in all the politics and everything, but this is people's lives we're talking about.
Hundreds of thousands, they've already been displaced. And if it gets worse...
Yeah, that number's just going to keep going up.
Exactly.
Okay, so we were talking about HTS. They're the ones leading this whole rebel thing, right?
Yeah, right.
But their history is a bit complicated, to say the least.
That's one way to put it. They started as part of al-Qaeda, so that raises some red flags right away.
Oh, for sure.
But they've been trying to move away from that image, even broke away from al-Qaeda publicly back in 2016.
Interesting.
Yeah, they say they want to make an Islamic state in Syria.
Okay, yeah, I can see why people would be nervous about that.
Yeah, a lot of unknowns there. Like, what exactly does that even mean? How do they plan to do it? Still a lot of question marks.
And then you've got them working with this Turkish-backed Syrian National Army.
Yeah.
Which I thought had totally different goals.
Exactly. For now, they've got a common enemy, so it makes sense to team up.
Makes sense.
But what happens if Assad goes? What then?
Yeah, good question.
The Syrian National Army, with Turkey behind them, they're probably going to want a secular state, a nationalist one. So you've got this clash waiting to happen, like a fundamental difference in what they believe.
So even if the rebels win, it's not really over.
Nope. Taking Damascus, that could be just the beginning. You could have all these different groups all fighting for control, all with their own idea of what Syria should be.
Oh, man.
And that's a recipe for chaos, the kind of chaos that could easily spill over into other countries. And then the whole region is unstable.
Which is why everyone's so worried.
Yeah.
They're saying peace talks, but come on. Does that ever really work in a situation like this?
I mean, it's a long shot, right? There were just so many different players here, inside Syria, outside Syria, all with their own agendas, getting them all to agree. Good luck.
It's kind of hopeless, almost.
Yeah.
But then you think about these aid groups. They're still out there, trying to help.
I know, right? It's amazing. They're doing incredible work under some really tough conditions.
They can.
Limited access, not enough resources, but they're there every day, risking their lives to give people aid, medical care, you know, just some hope to people who've lost everything.
That's pretty inspiring.
It is.
Makes you remember that this isn't just about politics, right? It's about real people.
Exactly. It's about their lives. Can't forget that.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, that's what matters, the human cost. It's heavy stuff. you know? And we all need to think about that as we try to figure out what's going on. This is a complex situation, and it's changing all the time.
Yeah, it's heavy stuff. It makes you think, you know?
Mm.
Here we are trying to make sense of it all, the alliances, who's doing what. But for the people there, it's just survival.
Yeah, it really highlights the difference. And it just shows how important it is to understand what's going on.
Absolutely.
Not just because it's, interesting, but because the stuff that happens, the decisions and the actions,
Right.
they have huge consequences for millions of people.
So, okay, we've talked about a lot. It's rebel offensive. It's moving so fast. What's happening with Assad, nobody really knows. All these alliances, and the whole region could become unstable. And then the humanitarian crisis, it's just awful.
Right. Yeah, it's a lot.
So where do we go from here?
Yeah.
What should we be looking for as things develop?
Well, first of all, keep an eye on Damascus. We need to know what's going on there. Is Assad really gone? Or is that just what the opposition wants us to think?
Yeah, that's a big one.
Figuring that out is crucial.
Totally.
Because it determines what happens next. If Assad's out, the fight for control, it could get even worse.
Yeah, I can see that. And I bet the international community, they're going to be scrambling.
Oh, absolutely. They'll be trying to figure out what to do. I mean, they were already calling for peace talks.
Right.
But those were always going to be tough with Assad around.
Yeah.
And now, it's like, who knows if those talks will even happen at all, let alone if they'd work.
It's a mess. So much we don't know. But one thing's for sure, the stakes are high.
No doubt. The future of Syria is, it's up in the air right now. What happens in the next few days, the next few weeks, it could affect way more than just Syria.
It's global.
Yeah. But here's something to think about. We've talked about HTS, right? And how they're working with those Turkish-backed forces. But what if they actually win? What if Assad is out and they take control? What happens then? What kind of Syria do they make? What role do they play in the whole region?
That's a good question.
It is. It is. We need to be thinking about that because the answers, they matter. They matter to all of us.
A lot to think about. This isn't over, that's for sure. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll keep you updated as things change, of course, but in the meantime, don't just wait for the news. Go out there and learn about this. Stay informed. And most importantly, don't forget about the people at the heart of all of this. This is about their lives.
It is.
That's it for this deep dive. We'll be back soon with more. Thanks for listening.